After spending an enormous budget on the final season of the hit series Shadow Realm, the streaming giant Streamwave suddenly finds itself in disarray. Whispers circulated that young star Millie Bray had submitted a serious internal complaint against her longtime co-star Daniel Hartwell, accusing him of persistent mistreatment on set. Fans were stunned. After all, Millie and Daniel had worked together since she was barely a teenager and he a seasoned adult actor, their characters forming a bond that viewers adored. Many had assumed their off-screen relationship mirrored the warm, protective dynamic portrayed on camera. How does a partnership that once seemed unshakable begin to fracture? And what changes behind the scenes that the public never sees? According to leaked reports within this fictional world, Millie's complaint was filed before filming even began for the final season. The investigation was handled entirely within Streamwave's internal system. No authorities were involved, but the company was said to have taken the matter extremely seriously. Insiders claimed the inquiry lasted for months and resulted in an extensive document outlining accounts of workplace tension and unprofessional behavior. Importantly, nothing described in the document was romantic or physical in nature, but the issues were still significant enough to raise concern. How often do professional relationships deteriorate long before anyone notices? And what responsibility does a studio have when tensions quietly escalate? Despite the investigation's private nature, those close to the situation said Millie requested a personal representative to accompany her on set, someone whose role was simply to ensure interactions with Daniel remained respectful and comfortable. That request alone sent shockwaves throughout the production, especially given Daniel's past interviews in which he expressed a deep sense of protectiveness toward Millie, calling her almost like family. Now, whispers suggested that the tone between them had shifted entirely, shaped by years of growing discomfort that may have begun when she was still very young. What does it take for someone to finally speak up about years of unease? And how do long-term working relationships change when one person begins to feel unsafe or unheard? With a massive budget of nearly $400 million riding on the final season of Shadow Realm, the streaming platform Streamwave had every reason to keep internal conflicts out of the spotlight. They wanted a triumphant ending, not a storm of controversy. But secrets in the entertainment world rarely stay buried for long, and soon whispers about tension between Millie Bray and Daniel Hartwell began spreading online. Fans immediately split into opposing camps. Some insisted the media had exaggerated everything, saying, "Unless Millie says it herself, I'm not convinced." Others argued that she wouldn't have filed a complaint unless she genuinely felt uncomfortable or disrespected. Why do fans so often choose sides before knowing the full story? And what does it say about us when we decide who to believe based only on loyalty or perception? Despite the rumors, Daniel wasn't removed from the project, suggesting that Streamwave concluded the situation didn't warrant such a drastic step. Even so, Millie's decision to keep her appointed representative by her side during filming implied that some sort of arrangement or precaution had been put in place. Notably, Streamwave never publicly denied that an investigation occurred, a silence many found telling. Meanwhile, the show's creators, the Dawson brothers, found themselves pulled into the controversy as well. How should creators balance business demands with the emotional needs of their cast? And can a production truly run smoothly when people behind the scenes feel unheard? Fans began questioning the Dawsons' decision to continue pairing Millie and Daniel in emotionally heavy scenes despite the reported friction. Some argued that expecting a young actress to perform alongside someone she'd accused of mistreatment showed questionable judgment. Imagining them filming close, heartfelt moments while carrying unresolved tension made the whole situation feel even more complicated. And to make matters more chaotic, snippets of Daniel's personal life also began circulating online, adding unwanted fuel to an already intense discussion. What happens to a story when real-life conflict bleeds into fictional relationships? And how much strain can actors hide before it begins to change the performances audiences see? In the midst of the growing storm, another twist emerged involving Daniel Hartwell's former spouse, British singer Lila Arden, who had recently released an album featuring songs that many listeners interpreted as reflections on their difficult breakup. Some fans speculated that Daniel's divorce had weighed heavily on him, possibly influencing his mood and behavior during filming. Yet, in an unexpected turn, rumors suggested that Leela actually voiced support for Daniel during the internal inquiry. The idea that Mila was filing concerns while Daniel's ex stood firmly beside him added a surprising layer of complexity to the narrative, leaving many unsure of how to interpret the situation. How often do personal struggles spill quietly into someone's professional life? And what does it mean when the person you once loved still chooses to defend you? As of now, the final results of Streamwave's investigation into the tensions on the Shadow Realm set remain unknown and may never be made public at all. What is clear, however, is that the controversy has cast an unmistakable shadow over the series' long-awaited finale. Fans are already speculating about how the upcoming press events will unfold. Will Mila and Daniel stand side by side like they did in earlier seasons, or will they keep a noticeable distance? Many believe the days of cheerful, joint red carpet photos may be gone. It's a bittersweet thought for longtime viewers who hoped the story would end in celebration, not conflict. How do public appearances change when personal relationships fracture behind the scenes? And can a show maintain its magic when the cast no longer fits together the way it once did? The heart of Shadow Realm was always built on themes of loyalty, resilience, and chosen family. Values that now seem at odds with the tension rumored to be simmering off-camera. Meanwhile, Daniel's public image has taken a noticeable hit. Between the emotional fallout of his divorce and the ongoing allegations of workplace tension, he finds himself at the center of intense public scrutiny. Some viewers insist he's being unfairly judged, while others accept Mila's perspective without hesitation. As expected, the internet has already erupted with commentary, jokes, memes, debates, and endless theories. How quickly can public opinion shift when personal struggles become headlines? And in a world driven by online narratives, who gets to define the truth? Online reactions arrived fast and loud. Comments like, "Looks like Commander Holt really is acting like a father figure gone wrong," and $400 million for 8 episodes is unbelievable, filled social media feeds. Regardless of where people stood on the issue, everyone agreed on one thing. The situation was complicated, uncomfortable, and far from what anyone expected from the once-tight Shadow Realm cast. With so much uncertainty swirling and conflicting stories emerging, the real truth might take a long time to settle, if it ever becomes clear at all. Until then, fans can only wait for Streamwave to release the final season and see whether any of the off-camera tension affects what appears on screen. How much do behind-the-scenes conflicts change the way we experience a show? And can a story still feel magical when the people telling it are struggling behind the curtain? In the end, viewers were left with lingering questions about who to believe and how to interpret the contrasting narratives surrounding Mila Bray and Daniel Hartwell. Some felt deeply sympathetic toward Mila, while others insisted Daniel was being misinterpreted or unfairly portrayed. The debates continued across comment sections, forums, and fan channels, each person drawing their own conclusions from fragments of information. How do we form opinions when we only ever see part of the picture? And what responsibility do we have when discussing real people's private struggles online?